What's happening, Cucumber Squad, and welcome back to the Fable Sphere. Right, before we can get started, as you know, go down to the pinned comment, click on the link, and join the sphere. It's completely free, and that's where you can interact with me. That's where you can request reactions. That's where you can join all of the groups and have a good old jolly time with all of the Cucumber Squad, including myself. I'm always there. I'm not on social media anymore, except for my Instagram, which that'll be dropping soon. But yeah, just go down to the pinned comment, take a look there. Lais Scort, man, will be alright. This is a skip the line reaction. It's one of the later ones that I was going to do earlier this week, but I was unable to, so I'm dropping that now. So Lais Scort, thank you very much. It's actually the artist herself that's requested the song, and I see she's requested 2 more for this weekend, so I appreciate that. Thank you very much. So yeah, let's see. It's called Will Be Alright. You did say that the lyrics are in the descriptions. I've actually pulled them up on my secondary screen just to take a look at it while we listen to this. And yeah, first time to the channel, so let's see what we've got over here. Let's go.
My mind's on fire, I feel lightning coming in to take my hand through the threshold.
Hey.
Oh my.
Okay, so straight off the bat, I actually really like that sound. That sounds even that, I think it's like if I'm mistaken, it's kind of like an electric guitar. I'm not entirely sure that particular type of string, but it sounds very 90s. So it sounds a bit old, but it also sounds super lively. So it almost sounds, the instrumentation's quite uplifting. I think your voice is pretty cool as well. I actually really like your voice. It's unique. All right, but just reading through these lyrics over here, I can kind of already get an idea in terms of like where we're going with this. It's a very spiritual song, very uplifting song. I kind of feel like it's a very introspective song. I think specifically for yourself, I think you probably wrote this because you found a lot within yourself. You dug deep within yourself, and I kind of feel that it inspired you to create this. So far, this is really great. The description, the lyrics are in the description for anybody who wants to go and read this. I'll always leave the original video link in my description as well. So click on that and just go to Lais Scort and show some love, and obviously watch it for yourself, and you can read the lyrics over there. But there's some really interesting words over here which we'll talk about shortly.
Shame no more, it's all worthwhile.
That over there, I don't know what you've been told, but there's a place in the unknown where nothing else can drag you down. Look their eyes inside out. I kind of feel like that's a very spiritual stance that you're taking over there. It's kind of like saying there's nothingness, and like we all come from nothingness. We all go back to nothingness, and it's if you're going down the spiritual route, you're going down my route. I can talk about this forever. But I do kind of feel that introspecting is going into that space where you can actually find validation in yourself as outside of the physical and outside of what people can judge you on in terms of who you are. The unknown to other people, the unknown sometimes even to yourself, because you're still trying to sort of figure out day by day who you are as a person, and you'll never find out. You'll never find that out. You're forever changing. You will always change. Who you are today is not who you're going to be tomorrow. It's not who you're going to be in 10 years, and it's not going to be who you're going to be in your deathbed, right? You're always changing. That's the beauty. That's the journey of life, which I find is so powerful. Is because if we had to say, okay, now I know exactly who I am. Right now, this is me. There's no adaptation better than this. It's a lie. It's a lie, because you don't know. You can digress and you can sort of regress, and you can sort of evolve. You can go further, essentially, right? It all comes down to environmental circumstances. It comes down to social circumstances. You don't really know who you are. Lots of different situations can change. You can be in a very stable situation right now and then sort of be plunged into a war, and you don't know how you're going to react within that war. You don't know what kind of person it'll bring out of you, so you don't really know who you are. It depends on circumstances. That's my personal opinion. But anyway, let's carry on.
I've heard my demons screaming sorrow as they left my shadows blinded by the light.
Oh my God.
And all my wings were caught on fire. I said, come on, we'll be alright, we'll be alright.
What an unbelievably powerful and grateful and gratifying thing to say, right? So listen to this over here. I'm assuming that this is probably going to be part of the hook. Obviously, it's the first time I'm listening to it. I'm reading as we're going along. But over here it says, I've heard my demons screaming sorry. So it's already she's alluding to the fact that she's beat her demons, right? As I left my shadows blinded by the light, right? Already saying that they left me. I'm sorry for having caused all this pain. I'm sorry for having caused all of this strife in your life. She's basically saying, I beat my demons while they were blinded by my light. She's basically validating her humanity. She's validating who she is as a person, saying, I'm too bright for these demons to take down. I'm too powerful. I'm worth something. I've got too much purpose. That is it's too sort of out there and brightly shining in the world for demons to take me down. And then it said, and I thought my wings were caught on fire. And then I said, come on, we'll be all right, right? So saying, like, as I was flying, I felt like these demons were trying to take me down, but I just went back to the positive thinking. I went back to, it's going to be all right. It's a very powerful statement. Everything is going to be okay. It'll be all right. It's a very powerful statement, specifically in your own mind. In your own mind, it's a very powerful statement to stay and keep positive and keep that belief alive, where you are saying, you need to read a book by Dr. Viktor Frankl called Man's Search for Meaning. He speaks a lot about that. He speaks a lot about the psychological ability to, even in the greatest, most adverse situations in your life, where in his case it was World War II, to actually continue to keep hope, because hope means a lot. You have a lot when it comes to hope. They can take absolutely everything away from you. Everything. They can take everything you've ever worked for, all of your possessions. They can strip you of your titles, absolutely everything. They can leave you bare-bodied in the middle of nowhere, and you still never have nothing. You never have nothing, because what's most important in life is what you've got in here and what you've got in here, and nobody can actually take that, right? And hope is a massive, massive part of understanding why you have nothing, right? So I really like that. I think that's a very powerful statement.
I barely recognize a person I see in the mirror now.
Nice.
Guess we flip societal expectations upside down. I got too busy rebuilding my life.
Right.
To let my insecurities dictate what was alright.
Love that line. Oh my God, I got too busy rebuilding my life to let insecurities dictate my insecurities dictate what was all right, right? Because what actually happens is when you play that, I actually call it the it. It's basically it's like a grudge that sits in your head, right? That tries to devalue, and it comes from the past. It comes from experiences in your past that sort of kind of broke you down, broke down your confidence. In my case, it was like not being wanted, being rejected, people not wanting to love me, and I always had that thing of like, I'm not good enough, right? And that comes from a childhood, essentially. Those insecurities sit in your heart. Those insecurities are a log that actually plugs all of that up, right? And it's kind of like an it statement. You always revert. It becomes like It's an insecurity space, but it becomes your safe space to retreat to. Because why is it a safe space to retreat to? Because it's easy to justify every single action by going to your past and saying, oh, it's because of this, right? So your insecurities dictate your future because you're not dealing with your insecurities. You're not actually facing them face first. So you're always retreating to that sort of like that shadow under the tree where all the mushrooms grow, essentially. And that's a very dangerous space to be in. And the most important thing to do in life is to actually tackle those insecurities. Why do I feel like that? Why am I not worthy? You are absolutely worthy. Finding a purpose, finding a validity to your purpose on this earth. And there's a reason for it. So your purpose is super, super important. It's very attached to insecurity. When you start focusing on yourself, right? Instead of putting a mirror in front of you the entire time and just consistently saying, oh, it's you, you're not worth it, you're not good enough, you're not nothing. And if you remove that mirror and actually put a plate of glass and see further, there's so much more to you. Sometimes you don't need to consistently look at yourself and beat yourself down, right? And we tend to consistently surround ourselves by mirrors so that everything that we say has got to always sort of like reflect who we are. You can also just take those mirrors away and surround yourself with just plate glass where you can see further. You can see the beauty and you can see your position and your purpose in the greater picture, right? And you can't do that if you're forever pointing fingers at yourself. So sometimes it's important. It's important to sometimes look in the mirror and introspect, but then there's also other times where it's important to take away the mirror and to look further than just yourself, right? Dropping the self at times is super important because you have an obligation to society, you have an obligation to humanity, right? You're part of a bigger picture. It's important to look at that bigger picture as well and how you fit in, right? And that's how you find your validity. And when you find your validity, you don't have time to play with insecurities. Those insecurities sort of wash away because you're finding a purpose in a greater system, right? Which is what it was intended. Anyway, like I say, these things get me going. Anyway, let's go.
Take what was alright. See all the things I have been through my life. I've shed so many skills I could have died. Yet I trust fully blind.
Over there, you just validated my beginning statement where I say you are consistently changing. You will never know who you are. She just validated that over there, seeing all the things that I've been through in my life. Shared it, and I told you. What did I say? I said it's environmental, it's societal things happen in your life that you will never know who you really are. Shedded so many skins that I could have died, right? So she's basically saying that I could, like, to try and find myself, I had to shed so many skins because of all these different situations that I went through, for all these different adversities that I went through, all these different types of stripes that I went through. But she broke through all of those skins to emerge a human being that's different, that's more adaptive, that's changed up to, she became stronger. She actually became the warrior in the garden as opposed to the gardener. She became the warrior in the garden. So I'm saying it correctly. She became the warrior in the garden. And I love this saying. There's a saying that says, I forget who it is by now, but I heard it from Jordan Peterson, where he said, it's better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war. Which means is that you would rather build yourself, right, powerful, make yourself an absolute monster and control that, right, so that you don't damage the flowers in the garden. But then if you ever are put in a time of war, you are a warrior that can handle it, which means your adversity, right? Because the majority of the times you'll be in the garden, but you're only ever 5 years away from some sort of strife, from some sort of adversity. Every single person is never just going, life is suffering, right? That is the way life is. So it's important to bear that. It's important to pick your suffering off the ground and wear it and deal with it, as opposed to playing victim all the time, as opposed to saying, oh, it's my past, it's my this, it's my that. Enough with those insecurities, enough with that crap. It's never going to help you. If you're going to use your past as a hitching post, instead of a guidepost, you'll never get anywhere. Let your past guide you right through the adversities. And that means adapting, that means shedding many skins. But if you shed your skin, a very painful process, if you shed your skin, right, It's going to feel raw. It's going to feel bitter at times, but eventually you're going to come out with an even stronger exoskeleton, right? So it's very, very important to adapt and to take on, to actually wear your suffering and deal with it. Life is not easy. It's beautiful, but it's not easy. And the reason it makes it beautiful is because there is suffering in our lives. It teaches us something. That's how we guide through our journey of life, right? Build yourself strong.
Yet I trust fully blind. Bridging the gaps between the past and the person that I see in the mirror looking back when
Bridging the gaps between the past and the person that I see in the mirror looking back. That's amazing. Again, this is just what I told you. Using your past as a guidepost as opposed to a hitching post, right? So what I was in the past and who I am now, there's a story in between there that's important. It's important to my journey. I can't just forget about my past, but I can use my past to bridge the gap between who I am now and learn. That gap is important because it allows me to learn so much about myself. It allows me to learn on how I dealt with adversity. It allows me to sort of shed some light on how I handle things in the toughest of situations, right? And I take that knowledge and I just apply it to the future so that when I shed my next skin, I emerge even stronger than I did before. Super important. Love that.
I sing this, speaking back to me and saying thank you for trusting this path.
That hook.
I said, come on, we'll be alright, we'll be alright.
Powerful statement.
Who I am is the sound of my soul, the vibration spread out of my heart. I am a frequency that weighs less than 21 grams. My soul remains weaving through my bones. All the rest can change because it's all part of what we create.
The words in this song were super powerful, but if you didn't catch that last one, let me just read this to you. Who I am is the sound of my soul, the vibration spread out of my heart. I am the frequency that weighs less than 21 grams. Basically saying energy, right? Spiritual energy. You come into this earth as spiritual. That's how I believe. That's my personal belief. I'm not going to go into it now, but I believe that you come into this earth as energy to fill this earth with something that it's missing. Right? You come here for a purpose, you fill that gap for a purpose, and then you leave when you have to leave, right? That's my personal thing. But my soul remains weaving through my bones. All the rest can change because it's all part of what we create. That's amazing, right? So she's basically telling you that there's a constant. Who I am, my spiritual being is very light, but very powerful, but it's constant. You can never change it. Everything else in the physical world can be changed, right? You can have control of your physical being. You can have control of your environment, and the things that you can't control, right? But you can control whether you are ineffective people. You can control whether people will get you down. You can control how your life pans out. You can control your successes and your failures. You can control all of that, right? Which is super important. But everything else you create, right? But who you are, innately who you are, that energy, that spiritualism, the being, your metaphysical being, that is a constant. I love that. Absolutely beautiful song. Love that song. Absolutely beautiful. I like that it had kind of like an Enya type feel. as well on the instrumentation, also as well on the delivery. Other than that, I really liked it. I think you're just starting off. I can hear it. You can hear it in the sound. You can hear it in the production. I think the production over time is just you're going to tweak that. Obviously, you'll get that production right. It's down to equipment and resources. We know how that goes. But I already think that you've already on a really a good journey over here. And I think that if you just stay on this, there's nothing to stop you. I think this is beautiful. Anyway, I love you all, man. Please stay safe, please stay healthy. Let me know what you think down below. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.